Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. I am Tim, back once again for the Speed Force Racing GP2 series. This week is the Spanish Grand Prix. I am solo today. No Oliver, no Tom, no nobody except for me and these fabulous 17 drivers. Waiting for the first one to blink and go out on the track. Let's see which one is going to etch their names into the books of GP2 winner today. We'll pull the stream up. I can talk to you nice folks, at least during qualifying. But one thing I will tell you about this racetrack, of course, being Spain, is it's bad. It is just so bad, in my personal opinion, when it comes to driving around this place. And I've heard that from a lot of different drivers as well. It just seems like it is not anybody's favorite racetrack. But nonetheless, we still have to race here. Otherwise, hey, you know what? These guys aren't getting points. Not really a fair trade-off, if you ask me. I believe it was an Alpine that was taking their first lap, trying to find who that was. It might have actually been the boss man there of Sonic Hawk. It was. There is Sonic Hawk making the move from GP4 all the way to the GP2 series this season. And that is one heck of a jump. Entirely skipped over to the GP3 class. He's just like, nope, see ya, I'm coming to GP2. Last week, of course, not the best of weeks for Sonic Hawk. Not what he was wanting in his debut race. He was doing pretty well there early on, but problems late in the race saw that he was just going to leave there pretty disappointed. We'll put it that way. So he's going to be looking for a lot of redemption here today as we ride on board with him. We'll ride on board with him for this first lap. We'll walk you around a lap at this track here. That corner is very treacherous, though, as well on restarts. You're going to have to be careful with that, but as he crosses the line, this is a DRS straight, so you're going to go straight down, keep it as straight as possible, go wide, use that curb a little bit, and then you want to take a very tight line through turn one is what I found. He took a little bit wider line, but it seemed to have worked for him. He stuck right in the middle of the track, and then you want to stay as low as possible to that red and white curb, to that uphill section, and then brake at the Pirelli banner, and then just flip that curb, then go out wide. Make sure you carry your speed in, but you got to brake really hard. This is like a second or third gear corner. Third gear for Sonic Hawk this time around. Be careful. That is an easy place to get a time penalty on the exit there. This is another difficult section. Do not want to clip that curb, and then you don't want to clip this one either going up the hill. And you especially don't want to go wide. Sonic Hawk went just as wide as he could, though, so good job there, but looks like he is backing out for now. I wonder if he actually invalidated his lap. Let's get the map on. He did invalidate his lap, so it was apparently when he went wide that the game decided, nope, not going to happen. So we'll take a look at Lozak now. He is in the third sector. Just a few more corners to go, and this chicane, incredibly tricky as well. Now, here's why this corner here is treacherous. Look at how much speed you carry through there. The car has so much downforce, it is able to keep that car planted to the ground as Lozak runs a 1:16 for his first, or actually 1:15, sorry, a 1:15.819 for Lozak. X-Gamer a 1:16.4. But these cars have so much downforce that you can carry a lot of speed through that corner, and it keeps the car planted to the ground. But when you're on a restart and you're right around that corner, your instinct is to hit the gas and go. And on a restart, you are very vulnerable to wheel spin. And I actually saw it in the GP5 race where a driver in front of me had a little bit of wheel spin, spun, and hit the wall right there at the pit entry, right about there. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that final corner during restarts today. Under race speed, surprisingly, it's a nice, very nice corner as Luke Bailey goes 1:16.418. Take a look at the McLaren of G. Dabo, who goes third quickest, a 1:16.1. Maxtrus goes quickest, and so does Dimkara. So the two Red Bulls 1 and 2 right now, a 1:15.2 and a 1:15.7 for these drivers. Take a look at, oh, and Senna Martins is out. Something has happened to Senna. He has crashed out of the qualifying. So we'll take a look at the Haas machine of Trench. As he just now enters the second sector. And again, a very tight corner this one is. You might see a little bit of contact, some broken wings through there today. That was the McLaren moving over, letting Trench by. Trench going a little bit wider than Sonic Hawk did, I'm noticing, through that set of corners. Went wider on the uphill section as well, but was able to keep it steady and not invalidate the lap. Very nice exit through that hairpin. Oh, but he loses it going into sector 3, and that is the worst sector of all. That transition is terrible, and you saw it, why it's so terrible just now. Take a look at Morris here. Actually, no, sorry, he is in the pits. We'll take a look at last week's winner, though. Carwin Robb, the other driver in the Haas. His teammate has to try a lap again. Not going to be able to make it this time. So Carwin Robb is Haas's last hope for a lap, at least this time, but we still have 12 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. So Carwin Robb electing to go out on the medium tire at the moment. And a much better transition into that set of corners than his teammate of Trench did. And Trench, something's actually happened to him. He is gone. So he put a lap down, did not, but now for whatever reason, he has actually left the session. So hopefully we can get him back as Carwin Robb goes second quickest. They 1:15.587. Chain game, wow, he's on a lap in that AlphaTauri. Just now entering the second sector. So far looking good in that first sector. Although I think a Red Bull might have just taken that fastest sector time away from him. We'll take a look at the Red Bull here later on. Or is that actually an Alpine? I believe it is an Alpine. And through the hairpin corner for chain game, wow. Purple second sector. Maybe we're going to see a pole time here. He was purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. And as he crosses the line, where does he end up? He ends up second place, a 1:15.580 for chain game, wow. Stoxy 9, he's on a lap in the Williams. Or on an out lap, about to start his flying lap. So Stoxy 9 crosses the line and he charges down into turn number 1. You can get a nice burst of speed in that downhill section. Then about the 50-meter mark, you're going to brake maybe a little bit before. You can use those curbs, but on that left-hander, if you touch the curb, I found in my experience, it will spin me. Stoxy 9, he might have just clipped it. So he is obviously okay, did not spin. Very nice apex through that particular corner there as he's entering sector 2. Very smooth exit as well. Calvin saying that he's gutted he can't race tonight. Calvin, I don't know why you're not racing, but we miss you, man. And we hope that you're going to be back with us next week. He does wish all the other drivers good luck in GP2. Stoxy 9, though, he's one of those drivers, Calvin, that he might need a little bit of luck. His current time, a 1:17, is nothing that he really wants to remember, I'm sure, but I'm also sure he's going to improve on it this time. Through the final corner, he will cross the line. Where will Stoxy 9 end up? He will go to no improvement. A 1:16.8, but no improvement in position. Those medium tires, not Stoxy 9's friend at all. Maybe he should try a lap on the softs, but then he'll have to start on the softs, and that could really mess with his strategy. A very common strategy that I think we're going to see around this track today is going to be a one-stop medium to hard strategy. Now, theoretically, you could probably start on the softs, go about 8 laps, and then change onto the hards. But it just feels to me like those hards at the end of the race are going to be screaming for you to change them. I personally did a medium to hard strategy on the in the race Monday as, wow, Stocksy 9 hangs on to it. No, he doesn't. Into the wall goes Stocksy 9. How did he not lose a front wheel? Now, that's what I was saying. That sector right there, that corner, that uphill right-hander, if you go wide and hit that curb on the outside as you're just transitioning onto the straightaway, you're going to get wheel spin, you are going to spin, and you're going to hit the wall just like Stocksy 9 did. I'm honestly surprised that Sonic Hawk on his first lap was able to hang on to it at all. So Stocksy 9 trying to limp it to the pits. We'll find someone who's on a lap. Looks like the Red Bull is on a lap. That is the Red Bull of Maxorus. Just now going into turn 1, now turn 2, using that curve. Wow, making a liar out of me. Maybe I need to take some driving tips from Maxorus there, because as he's using that curb, it's really improving his time. But every time I touched it, I would spin. Calvin just moved. You don't have internet. I know that struggle, my friend. I just moved recently as well. Luckily, I was able to get internet in here before my first night, but it was cutting it close. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Lozak is your fastest qualifier so far with a 1:15.053 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Maxorus in the Red Bull currently in 4th. He's going to be looking for the pole position, but let's see if he can find it. Got to be very careful on that curve too. You go too wide, you're going to get an invalidation penalty. One final corner for Maxorus. Down the front straightaway, and as he crosses the line, where will he end up? Third quickest, a 1:15.137, or second quickest actually with a 1:15.065. It's his teammate of Kara. That's the 1:15.137. Lozak on an outlap now, going to look to improve on that 1:15. Oh, can we possibly see him break into the 1:14 second bracket? Crowhawk, he's on a lap now as well in the Williams. The Williams and the Red Bull colors are so similar this season that it is throwing me off. I'm just going to say that right now. I cannot decipher which one is a Red Bull and which one is a Williams until I'm actually looking at the car. So I'm going to have to do some studying on that driver chart. New driver, new series, new season. Only the second race in. It's going to be a while before I can learn all this, but we are getting there. We are getting there, my friends. Almost everyone is in the pits, though. Looks like JD Galay had a moment as well, and he is DNF from the session. So Senna and JD Galay are going to be bringing up the back of the field with the 16th and 17th positions on the starting grid. Something happened to Senna where he wrecked out, and apparently the same happened to the Mercedes of JD Galay. Better to wreck out in qualifying than it is the race, but track position is going to be, well, lacking for them, we'll say. So Crowhawk rounds the final corner to start his first and likely only qualifying lap. I guess theoretically he could have time to pull into the pits, change tires, and go back out there and cut it close, or stay out for a second lap. But you got to remember, if you qualify in the top 10, then whatever tires you qualified on are the ones you start on. You cannot change them. So if Crowhawk does qualify in the top 10 with this lap, he will be starting on those soft tires. So it's really not worth it to go for a second lap on the soft tires just to try to improve. Yeah, you might, but then you're going to have one less lap to deal with in the race, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the rest of your strategy and maybe some perfectly timed safety cars, which I think we're going to see a lot of. We've seen safety cars in the GP5 race, the GP4 race, and the GP3 race yesterday. I don't see why GP2 is going to be any different. So Crowhawk purple through that second sector. Right on board with him for the rest of the lap. Watch his steering inputs. Looks like he might be on a pad, but still very smooth for a pad user if so. Rounding the final corner, Crowhawk crosses the line, and he will go to P9, a 1:15.845 for Crowhawk. So all the drivers that can have now set a lap. Stocksy 9 and the other Williams on a lap now, going to look to improve on that 1:16.9. Stocksy 9, of course, another driver who has made the jump to GP2 from GP4. So that is Kara, Sonic Hawk, and Stocksy 9. Those three drivers, the ones making the jump. A few other drivers that have made the jump to another series from GP4. Smoke going to GP3 from GP4. Always got to give some love to my GP4 boys, though. I do miss commentating on that series. So Stocksy 9 rounds the final set of corners through this very tight, very difficult, absolutely rage-inducing chicane. Across the line with just under 2 minutes remaining. Does he improve his lap? 11th place, a 1:15.878 for Stocksy 9. No chance to get back out there and set a faster lap unless he keeps digging hard this time around. And he actually might be doing that. We're right on board with him. He is digging hard. Look at this. He is just flooring it up this uphill section. Turn 3, I guess, technically, but I'll tell you this, when I'm driving, it's not turn 3, it's more like turn 8 because I've already ended up swerving and having to correct about 3 times before. So I do think Stocksy is going for a lap. He really wants to start. Oh, and he invalidates it, so it's not going to happen this time. Back her down, save your tires. What a shame for Stocksy 9 as the Alpine is wrecked out. Was that Sonic Hawk? No, it wasn't. Who was it? So that would have to be Sonic's teammate then of Cassidy. Yeah, Cassidy there in 9th. So he is wrecked out. Good for him. He at least got a lap down, but that is a shame. So Cassidy will not get another go at it. Sonic Hawk, he's going to get another go at it now, though, with just 40 seconds to spare. So we're right on board with Sonic Hawk. Let's see if he can improve on his lap time. Let's see if he can improve on his teammates' lap time. This is the later part of the qualifying. This is when this track is at its best. Those of you who watch but don't race, you may be wondering, well, why do they wait so long to go out on the racetrack? Why don't they just go out instantly and set a lap and be done with it? And why do they always get better as the session goes on? It's because the track surface actually does get better, and it becomes a more ideal track surface closer to the end of qualifying. And I think what's happening is that they're attempting to simulate not only the temperature change of the track, but the rubber being laid down in the racing line as well that gives you grip. So your time, when qualifying first starts and when it ends, are going to be 2 different lap times. You can mess up on your second lap significantly and still run a quicker lap. So that's what's going on there, and Sonic Hawk, he invalidated his lap, so he will not be able to set a lap. Looks like Carwin Robb, he is on a lap. In the 3rd sector now, Lozak, Maxilrus, and Kara on a lap as well. We'll take a look at them. After Carwin Robb, looks like he's going to be one of the first to complete the lap. Actually, Maxilrus is going into the pits, as is Kara. Carwin Robb rounding the final corner. Let's see if he goes pole. He's going to cross the... No, he doesn't. He slows down. He slows down. What happened? He slowed down, so he did not improve his lap time. And I think that what you see is what you're going to get. Chain Game Wow there in 4th. He was on a lap. Already said it, but now he's invalidated this one. Probably not going for a second lap anyway. Diving down into the pits is Chain Game Wow. There's Morris pulling into the pits as well. So what you see is what you get. Here is your GP2 qualifying done and over with. Lozak not breaking into the 114s, but getting it down to a 1:15.053 for the Alfa Romeo driver. So now we just have to run out the clock. No drivers on track with the exception of Lozak. But as I said, we still do have to wait out the clock. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Hey, nope, it's going to be a little bit early this time. Works for me. I'm sure that these guys are ready to get to racing too. And here are your official results for the GP2 Spanish Grand Prix qualifying. Lozak in first, Maxelrus in second, Cara in third, Shane Game Wow in fourth, Morris in fifth, Luke Bailey in sixth, seventh is Carwin Robb, Ghost Cam in eighth, ninth is Cassidy, Crowhawk in 10th, Sonic Hawk in 11th, Stoxy 9 in 12th, G Dabo in 13th, 14th is X Gamer, 15th Trench and JD Glay in 16th, and 17th Senna Martins. No time set by the Mercedes or the Ferrari driver down there. Not sure what happened, but a big problem in qualifying led to that. TR Trench, of course, he was setting a lap, had a decent one going, went off in the third sector. Not sure if he actually was able to get back into his car. Not sure if he is going to be able to join us in this race or not. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. If not, then the two guys behind him that didn't get a time set will at least have one extra starting position, but I don't think it's really going to make them feel that much better. But now is the time to get your predictions in. Who do you think is going to be our top three in any order? I am going to go with Lozak, Carwin Robb, and Maxelrus in any order for my top three predictions. Proliver, he says good luck as well. Good to see you, Proliver. And there is that beautiful grid of 17 cars. Looks like Trench is going to be able to make the race with us. So he was able to get back into his car, just not able to set another lap. So here are your tire choices. Carwin Robb starting on the medium tires. Ultimately, I think that that is going to be the right call. Everyone else in the top 10, though, they are starting on the softs. Sonic Hawk, Stoxy 9, G Dabo, all starting on the mediums. Looks like X Gamer, he's taking a gamble, going to start on the softs. Trench and Galay down there on mediums as well, with Senna Martins doing what me and Oliver like to call psychomich things, starting on the hards, going to turn it into a one-stop. Does he go from hard to soft or hard to mediums? I would assume hard to mediums, but you just don't know sometimes. Proliver is going with Cara, Sonic, and Cassidy. Looking like that is a pretty solid lineup. Cara there in third. He's already in that podium position. Sonic, of course, down there in 11th. Not the best of qualifying positions, but with those medium tires, he could make that car sing. And Cassidy had some issues, actually, in the second sector in qualifying. He got to set a lap time fast enough for 9th, but when he was trying to set a faster one, he spun it, bent it, killed it. No more car. So I'm sure that he has learned from that mistake and is looking for a little bit of redemption. I said that it's better to wreck out in qualifying than it is in the race, but it doesn't mean that it helps your pride at all. Lozak, naturally, the first one to the grid, waiting for the rest of the drivers to line up behind him as well. Before we can go green, it's going to be 33 laps around this race course. A lot of drivers you're going to see making a one-stop strategy, but I'd say that almost an equal amount is going to be making a two-stop strategy, considering that a lot of them have started on the softs. Almost a full grid here for the GP2 series, and we are glad that you're here watching with us. And you hear those engines revving, you hear those itchy pedal feet, the drivers watching the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in the air. No red lights. We are green for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Spanish Grand Prix side-by-side racing into turn number 1. Maxelrus trying to take the lead from Lozak. It's 3 wide in the back of the pack, but Maxelrus is taking the lead from Lozak. Move that Red Bull up into the first position. The Red Bull car back there in third, watching his teammate battle with the leader. Lozak trying to go underneath him. Oh, Lozak touches him, he turns him, he spins. Oh, and the Red Bulls collide. The Red Bulls collide. They're off the track. Caution in Sector 1. Are we going to see a full safety car? Lozak continues. Chain Game Wow moves up into second place. Luke Bailey moves into third now. Look at Luke Bailey, the teammate to Lozak, all the way in the podium position after the two Red Bulls collide on the first lap. Morris fighting hard with Luke Bailey, though. Luke Bailey trying to chase down Chain Game Wow up ahead of him. Morris, oh, you got to be careful, my friend. You get on that curb and you are gone. And look at how much time he lost. He knew he was about to mess up. He backed out of it. Very smart driving from Morris in that Mercedes. Cassidy, though, he's breathing down his neck, and he is breathing down his neck with the will and determination of a hungry tiger on the prairie that hasn't ate in 5 days. Cassidy already in 5th place. He can see the lead. It may be lap 1, but these guys are still racers, and they're going to do what it takes to get up to first as soon as possible, but, of course, without taking too many risks. It's a nice balance that you have to find here. Cassidy's going to have the slipstream on Morris, though. I think he might just be able to make the move around him. Not this time, though. If he had DRS, though, I'm sure that he would have. Nice tight line through turn number 1, using every bit of curb that he can. Lozak looks like he's getting a little bit squirrely up there, just maybe, unless that's Chain Game Wow. In fact, it is Lozak. He is checked out and gone. But Chain Game Wow, he got a little bit squirrely through that uphill section in Sector 3. Let's see how he does through here. We ride on board with Cassidy still. Chain Game Wow looking a lot more stable. Morris starting to get a little bit closer to the Mercedes. Oh, but look at this Chain Game Wow. Chain Game Wow just got passed by Luke Bailey. So now it's a side-by-side battle down the straightaway. It's a drag race. Luke Bailey on the inside. On the outside is Chain Game Wow. Chain Game Wow with the momentum is going to hang on to it, but is he going to be able to get the move done? No, he's not. Oh, it's contact between these two guys. This is for 3rd place. Chain Game Wow makes his way into 3rd. Luke Bailey in 4th now, having to give chase to the AlphaTauri. Just behind him, that Alpine of Cassidy. And that was actually the battle for 2nd, not 3rd. Luke Bailey still in 3rd. Chain Game Wow moves up into 2nd. Cassidy moves up into 4th around Morris. So Cassidy, being the opportunist that he apparently is today, made the move around Morris, didn't even see it happen. I know what driver did. That was Morris. He's not happy about it, I'm sure. Running in 5th, trying to give chase to that Alpine, but he's got another driver on his rear end, that being the Red Bull of Crowhawk. Or not the Red Bull, excuse me, the Williams of Crowhawk. On board with Crowhawk, we'll see what he's doing different than Morris. Looks like Morris is finally keeping in a high gear a little bit, though. He's starting to get closer to Cassidy. We'll change to our onboard of Morris's so we can see what he's doing compared to Cassidy. Both of them using that curb a little bit. Cassidy using that curb a little bit too much. That's how he got caught out in qualifying. He's going to have to be careful. He's going to have to make some decisions here. You know, risk versus reward. Cassidy, though, definitely taking a little bit of risk, looking on the inside of Luke Bailey. Thought he could get the move done. That is not a sector that you're really going to make a pass. You can try, and it might work, but it's really going to be who has the most cojones to hold it when you transition into that, I just call it the weird sector, honestly. It's all Sector 3, but right after the hairpin, you have that tiny little straightaway, and then you have to turn dead right, but it's also a bit of an elevation change, and the corner starts off camber, then it becomes, then it's on camber, and it's just so messed up. Of course, that's how we saw Trench in his qualifying. Let's go back and take a look at Stock 9 here for just a moment. He's getting closer to Ghost Cam in the Aston Martin ahead of him. Ghost Cam had a pretty good run last week starting off. Ultimately did not finish the day where he wanted, but P7 right now, that is still points on the board. Sometimes that's all you have to worry about is points and let the rest take care of itself. You want to win every single race. But when you can, you got to get what you can take and try to take a little more. Or take what you can get, I guess is the proper saying. So we are starting to have a train form behind Cassidy. Cassidy's already gotten by Luke Bailey for the third position. Looks like Crowhawk and Morris are battling it out now as well. No, Morris goes into the pits. Morris goes into the pits after only 3 laps on the soft tires. What's going on there? The soft tires will just completely be eaten away. Oh, and we have a virtual safety car. So this could have been the best thing for Morris if this turns into a full safety car. Not sure what happened to cause a virtual safety car, but we certainly have it on track. So the drivers have to slow down, match a delta pace. See where Morris ended up in all this. Looks like he was in the 13th position as he exits the pits on fresh mediums. X-Gamer on fresh mediums as well, so those 2 drivers pitted. Not sure if maybe there was some wing damage on one of those cars that caused them to dive down into the pits early. But realistically, I think you're going to see the drivers on soft tires pit around lap 7 or 8. I've been told that the window between, the very broad window, mind you, is anywhere from 6 to 9 laps. But to narrow that down, it seems that about 8 is that magic number. Still under the virtual safety car. I'm sure a lot of drivers wish that it had been a full safety car, but we are green now and DRS has been enabled. And it's the wrong time for Morris because G. Dabo trying to make a move around the outside after getting the DRS from him. But Morris is able to defend for the 13th position. A few more drivers making a pit stop. That is Luke Bailey and Crowhawk. So a lot of early goers into the pit lane. Shane Gainwell moves back into second, Cassidy in third. Shane Gainwell, Cassidy having a very tight battle between the two. Half a second separating them right now. Lozak, meanwhile, he is checked out and gone. 3.7 seconds ahead of everyone else. Sonicok, he's getting closer to Stocksy 9 here. Of course, he remembers Stocksy 9 from his GP4 days. So these guys are no stranger to racing on track with one another. Maxor is just behind Sonicok, though. He's on those soft tires, so we might see him make a move soon. It's 5 laps on those soft tires, though. So they are starting to reach the end of their life, slowly but surely. But if they do have any life, he might be able to get around Sonic. Honestly, I'm surprised that Maxorus did not pit. However, he does have a time penalty. We'll take a look at that. It is a 5-second time penalty. I'm assuming that is from the contact with his teammate, Kara, earlier on in the session. Of course, Lozak, there might have been some contact between the two of them going through turn 3 on the first lap. Not sure if there was. It looked like there was, but we were on board with the driver in 4th. So a few more pit stops being made. We'll go back to our tire graphic here. Senna, though. Look at Senna. Let's talk about him. He did not get a chance to qualify. No time set in the qualifying session, but he has moved his way up into the 8th position, battling with J.D. Galley just ahead of him. Both of these drivers did not set a time. J.D. Galley elected to start on the medium tires. Senna Martin's doing Psychomich things, starting on those hard tires. Probably going to go to mediums here in about 15 laps or so. Maybe not quite 15 laps, maybe closer to 10. But make no mistake, I'm sure that will be Senna Martin's next tire compound. Take a look at Maxorus. He is getting closer to Sonicok. We have a 3-car battle between Sonicok, Maxorus, and Carwin Robb. Stocksy 9 and Sonicok sort of forming a train behind them. A very small train, though. But the third sector, you can defend through that third sector fairly well. You just have to have just enough pace. Not necessarily full-blown pace. You don't have to have leader pace, but you have just enough pace to defend. And there goes Maxorus around Sonicok for the second position. Makes the move, gets it done very easily. Sonicok down to 3rd now. Carwin Robb breathing down Sonicok's neck. That's our winner from last week. Sonicok just trying to hold out and get a good position today. His second race in GP2. So we'll ride on board with Carwin Robb. We'll see what Sonicok does to defend against this charging Haas driver. And he made the move, but Sonic Hawk trying to fight against him again. But I think Sonic Hawk has pretty much gave up the ghost. He's just running his own race at this point. Maxorus, though, he's getting close to Stoxy 9 for the lead. Even if he is on those old soft tires, it does not matter. He is showing that he is fast. He has got the DRS. He's got the slipstream. He has got the speed, and now he's got the position. Before turn 1, move Maxorus up into first, Stoxy 9 back to second, Red Bull versus Williams, Red Bull in the lead. Now the question is that Maxorus is up in first. Does he pit this time? Does he pit next time? At this point, though, he was able to move his way up through the pack and get back into first on raw pace and old soft tires. I'm almost wondering if he could make the tires last the rest of the race. Of course, he can't, and even if he could, he'd get disqualified. But let's just imagine that that part doesn't exist. I can see him having the determination to go all the way on those soft tires. But that's definitely not going to be the case. Carwin Robb, though, getting close to Stoxy 9, that is very much the case. Almost half a second between these two. It's pretty much a three-car battle for the lead at the moment. Red Bull versus a Williams versus a Haas versus an Alpine of Sonic Hawk a little bit further back. 1.4 seconds behind Carwin Robb, but you can just see Sonic back there. In fact, the entire top 6 is different manufacturers, or different constructors rather. It's Red Bull, it's Williams, it's Haas, it's Alpine, it's Mercedes, and it's Alfa Romeo. And Crowhawk with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Crowhawk, where's he running? Currently in the 10th position. So I'm not sure what happened to Crowhawk, but that is a shame. Morris, though, has the fastest lap of the race so far. And Morris is in P7 right now. If he's able to hang on to that, that's an extra point at the end of the race. Lap 10 of 33, almost a third of the way done with this race. And Carwin Robb trying to make a move around Stoxy 9, but is he going to do it? He's looking on the inside, thought better of it, backed out, and fell back in line. But there's a DRS straight coming up now. So Carwin Robb will have a chance, but he had a little bit of a moment there. He had to check up just a little bit. So that killed his momentum down the straightaway. No chance to get around Stoxy 9 that time. His next opportunity will be going into turn 1. Look at that, though. He almost went off the track. That's what I'm talking about. It's such a weird transition to those two corners. It is so easy to spin it. You don't even realize that you're about to do it. And Stoxy 9, he clipped that curb. That's going to allow Carwin Robb to get around him. And with relative ease, to move Carwin Robb up into second, now up into first because Maxorus has decided to pit. What tires is he going on? Is he going to try to go for a one-stop and go for soft to hard? Lozak, meanwhile, he's going the medium to hard strategy, or excuse me, soft to hard strategy. He is pitted. And Maxorus is going soft to hardest too, but now we have a virtual safety car. And this is actually the best thing that could have happened for our leaders. Or at least the ones that just pitted Maxorus, because he's not going to lose as much time to everyone else. Maxorus, though, still lost a lot of time back there in the 12th position now. Lozak, though, in 5th place. Now, if we had a safety car, that would really help Lozak out. That would bunch the field back up. He would get a lot closer to JD Galley. Of course, the drivers ahead of him still have to pit. So Lozak, he is sitting pretty right now. A virtual safety car to cool those tires off just a tad. Running in 5th, knowing that the 4 drivers ahead of him still have to pit, he will inherit the lead of this race, barring any catastrophe on his part. And that might even put our boy Morris in 2nd place with Chain Game Wow in 3rd. But the leader at the moment is still Carwin Robb, and I'm sure that he will be the leader for at least a few more laps before he changes to the hard tires. Now, here's where it's going to get a little bit interesting. Lozak, Maxorus, possibly Ghost Cam, they are on the one-stop soft to hard strategy. Carwin Robb, Stoxy 9, Sonic Hawk, JD Galley, they are on the one-stop medium to hard strategy. So the hard tires will last the longest of any tire compound. That is pretty much common knowledge. And the mediums will last a little bit longer than the softs, and etc. But is the difference between laps on the hard tires going to be the deciding factor of who wins this race when we get down to the end? Lozak already has 3 laps on those hard tires. If Carbon Rob pitted right now, he would have 3 laps fresher tires than Lozak. Now, Lozak will inherit the lead. So the only way that someone is going to be able to really take advantage of that is if they have just that much raw pace, or more likely, a safety car that bunches the field back up and levels out that playing field. If it goes green the rest of the way, then I have no doubt that Lozak could be the one that's standing on the top spot of the podium. But if we have a safety car, then and he gets guys with fresher tires lining up behind him, that's when it really gets down to the nitty-gritty. Now let's take a look at Cassidy here. He's having a nice battle with Chain Game Wow. He's got that DRS and that slipstream. Chain Game Wow tries to defend. He defends the inside, but Cassidy still makes the move stick on the outside line. Move Cassidy up into 7th. Chain Game Wow back into 8th. Still a very close battle between Cassidy and Chain Game Wow. Really no other battles on track except for maybe Sonic Hawk getting closer to Stoxy 9, so we'll go take a look at him in just a moment. Sonic Hawk, I think he's just biding his time. I'm sure that the medium tires are not feeling all that great at the moment. I personally went to lap 17, 18, somewhere around there on those medium tires. Then a safety car came out. I was able to pit. I was going to go on softs there for the end, take a nice gamble, because at the moment it didn't look like I was getting any points and I had nothing to lose. But there was a glitch to where I had the soft tires selected. But instead, the crew put on hard tires, which turned out to be the better strategy. And I was able to go and get an 8th place finish. So theoretically, Sonic Hawk can go to about lap 17 on these medium tires if he needs to. For that matter, Carwin, Rob, Stoxy 9, JD Delay, they all could. So we're going to see these guys up at the front for a while now. The question, oh my goodness, and who was that almost turned around? That was JD Delay. He clipped that curb just behind him, and he did a miraculous job saving that car. I thought he was going into the wall. That would have been our safety car. Let's take a look now at Maxorus, leading there for a while on the mostly fresh hard tires, trying to make his way back up through the field. A lot of those guys are going to have to pit in front of him, though, so he might at least be able to make it into the points. Of course, if you're just joining us and you wonder what happened to the Red Bull drivers, on the first lap, it was Lozak versus Maxorus, and they were fighting hard for the lead. Lozak may have made some contact with the rear end of Maxorus. I truly don't know, because we did not get the best angle of said potential contact. So I'm going to let those two drivers work that out, but there may have been some contact. Regardless, what did happen was Maxorus went spinning right about there, went off the track, and as his teammate tried to avoid the spinning car, he also went off the track. They collided, and that's why you see the Red Bulls running in 11th and 13th at the moment. But Maxorus was able to charge his way back up to the lead, pit from the lead for those hard tires. So his day might not be over yet, but I would almost dare to say that he needs, not even wants, but needs a safety car if he is going to have a chance at this win. He can get points still and be sitting pretty, but you know he wants a win, especially when he was one of the top 3 qualifiers, I believe. Top 5 for sure, as Carwin Robb and JD Galley both blink. That puts Stoxy 9 and Sonic Hawk into 1st and 2nd place after 15 laps on the mediums. So obviously Carwin Robb is going to be going on the hard tires. As you can see there, JD Galley going on the hard tires as well. This will be their final stop of the day, barring any safety car. I'd say if a safety car comes out in about 5 or 6 laps or so, you're going to see a lot of drivers dive down into the pits, get some soft tires if they have them, and get ready for a final laps shootout. So it looks like Sonic Hawk, he got a little taste of victory here. He has really turned up the pace. He was struggling to keep it under a second, and now he's got the DRS. 2 stock Z9. The question is, which one of these drivers is going to pit first? The undercut seems to be the preferred strategy, the one that you can get the most time out of. But sometimes you just have to gamble and go for an overcut. And I guess if you have the pace, then the overcut can work very well. And stock Z9 goes into the pits. Sonic Hawk going to stay out there. So Sonic Hawk will stay out there for at least one more lap, maybe more. But regardless, he will be coming in sooner rather than later. Lozak, meanwhile, inherits the second place position. 4.7 seconds behind our leader of Sonic Hawk. So Lozak will inherit the lead once this is all said and done, but he does have a time penalty. That will come back to bite him in the end. A 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, I'm sure. So Chain Game Wow there in 5th, having a battle with Cassidy. You saw Cassidy just a moment ago. He got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So that puts his total up to only 3. So only 3-second time penalties for everyone on the board, with the exception of G Dabo, who has 9 seconds. So Maxorus, apparently he had to serve that penalty that he had on pit road. So Maxorus is sitting pretty. He is okay at the moment. JD Galley, what happened to JD Galley? Oh my goodness, he is out now. Oh, and he's out on that DRS straight. We have a full safety car. But it could not have came at a worse time than it did for Sonic. At least maybe. He might have been just far enough to head to where he might have a free pit stop against Lozak. We'll have to wait and see. Lozak is pitting. He's going on the medium tires. Does anyone go on the softs? I think it's too early to go on the softs, because at this point we would be going back. You'd have to do 11 laps on those soft tires, which I've been told is doable. I've been told that specific number on soft tires around here, 11, is doable. It just doesn't feel good. Nor is it necessarily the ideal situation you need to be putting yourself in, but if you needed to, you might be able to do it. But I just don't think that softs are going to be very beneficial here. Sonic Hawk, though, 17 seconds ahead of Crow Hawk. He might have just gotten a free pit stop out of this because the drivers are going to be under safety car speed. Sonic Hawk, of course, he's going to have to match that delta, be careful not to speed, and then have a smooth entry onto the pit lane. We'll watch Sonic stop. We'll see where he comes out in relation to Crow Hawk, Carwin Robb, and Lozak. The question is, will Crow Hawk pit as well? So here comes Sonic into the pits. This actually might have been a perfectly timed safety car for Sonic, now that I think about it, because he has been able to keep a nice steady gap ahead of the rest of the field. So he pulls into the pits, likely going for the hard tire. There you see the fresh set of softs, or hards, excuse me. My goodness, I don't know my colors today. The fresh set of Dr. Feelgoods for the boss man here. But the real question is, does he get out ahead of Carwin Robb? It's going to be so close, but Sonic Hawk, he does get out ahead of Carwin Robb, just barely. And he has slightly, and I do mean slightly, fresher tires than Carwin Robb. Could that be the difference? Carwin Robb, we have seen him be incredibly fast this season. Sonic Hawk, we still don't know where his pace matches the rest of the GP2 guys. He seems to be at least a points contender. But he had bad luck last week in Bahrain, and this week is just the opposite end of the spectrum. He just got a huge break. So now we see where his pace really is. Sonic Hawk can get his elbows out and let his full potential shine through like the sun on this sunny day. Unless, of course, you're in the UK. I'm sure that it's just about nighttime over there. But it's still daytime where I am over here in America. In fact, you know what? This is a nice chance to talk to people. Where are you watching from? We have 10 people watching. One of them, of course, technically being me. So I'll get us started. I'm from America. On the eastern side, it is 3:23 in the afternoon today at this particular moment in time. And here's something a bit interesting I'm noticing, is that almost everybody is on fresh tires, which you would expect. It's a safety car. You essentially get a almost free pit stop. You might as well, because everyone else around you is going to pit. But sometimes we have seen drivers stay out on old tires thinking that track position is going to be key. The safety car, though, I'm sure will be in the next lap. Wet day in the southwest of the UK today. So for Oliver hailing from the southwest of the UK. And honestly, I'm sure that a lot of you are based in the UK. This is a UK-based league. But make no mistake, everyone from anywhere can race with SFR. I'm an American. I race with SFR. I commentate with SFR. We got a lot of UK people who race in SFR. Sonic Hawk, he is from India. It is like 2 in the morning over there right now, but he is still here and he is racing with us. And, you know, we are so glad to have Sonic Hawk not just helping us run this league, or pretty much running this league. He is the boss man after all, with help of the admins, of course. But we're glad that he's able to be so committed that he stays up and races with us as well, because I'm sure that man is tired and just wants to go to bed. Of course, if he went to bed as a winner in GP2, I'm sure that would be sweet, sweet dreams all night. Carwin Robb, though, he won in Bahrain last week, and when we talked to him in the interview, he said that the fastest car won. Can he make it the fastest car again this week? He has done a fantastic job so far, and he's been able to get out ahead of Lozak, which really I think is going to be key. Lozak had this track locked down tight. When he pitted, he had built up as much as a 3 to 4 second lead over second place. Was the furthest out that he had got. Lozak, I knew coming into this race after that qualifying that he was going to be fast. Of course, being the pole sitter, you would expect as much. But it just seems that Lozak's pace is just a tiny step above everyone else's. But now that he's stuck back there in third, he might have a little bit of trouble getting around that Haas and that Alpine. Sonic Hawk, of course, he's going to be very hungry for a win. He has not had a win since I was commentating in GP4, I'm pretty sure. And now he's in GP2 looking for his first win of this league. And look at Lozak making an aggressive move on Carwin Robb, trying to go underneath him. No DRS, though, so no help. It's going to be raw pace if he gets him. Tries to do a crossover, gets back in line. Then he outbreaks him into turn one. Move Lozak up into second place. Wow, that was determination there. Now, Lozak does have a 3-second time penalty, so even if he gets around Sonic Hawk, he's going to have to build up 3 seconds. Lap 21 of 33, 13 laps remaining in this race. Lozak has caught Sonic Hawk, and he is there on the back. Those medium tires are going to be a lot faster than those hard tires, but they're going to wear out quicker. That might be Sonic Hawk's saving grace. Lozak looking underneath it, but not going to do it this time. He's not close enough. Lozak actually has to get on the brakes hard there to avoid getting to the back of Sonic Hawk. Through the uphill sector, be very, very, very careful here, guys. Very smooth indeed as Ghost Cam gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But Lozak looking underneath Sonic Hawk side by side, but not for long. Lozak makes the move stick, but Sonic Hawk does a crossover move. At least tries it. Thought about making the move through that corner. Could not make it work. So Lozak's going to stay in first, but now we have a safety car. Right as Sonic Hawk lost the lead, we have a safety car. That is not what that man was wanting. That is for Ghost Cam. So something has happened to Ghost Cam. We saw that he got a time penalty. Apparently it was a lot more than just a time penalty. And Crowhawk as well. Crowhawk in the Williams, he is out. You can see he is stopped on your map in Sector 2. So now the Soul Williams on track is Stocksy 9 there in third. Of course, our two Red Bulls, they are still out there. That is Maxilrus and Kara. So we are going to rack 'em, stack 'em, and try it again. That's going to be another 3 laps before we go green. And this helped Lozak out a lot because this gives his tires time to cool down. I know that he's got 3 laps on those tires and that there was no question he was definitely making it to the end. But I was getting a little bit worried because I thought that if Sonicok could stay close to Lozak, that just maybe he would have enough tire life to make him move around him at the very end. Now, Sonicok is going to have to get his elbows out and kick it into overdrive because Lozak is going to have essentially 3 free laps on those medium tires. I guess technically 2-ish if you want to get, really down to the details. But about 2 to 3 free laps essentially on those medium tires, even though the counter is going to say 6 when we go back green. I'm sure I don't have to explain to you that the tires are wearing at a significantly slower rate under safety car speeds. So what do you do if you're Sonicok, though? Setting back there in the second position, you can see first place. You can taste the victory, and you already know you're hungry. But what do you do? How do you make sure that you get past the pole sitter of this race, the man that has pretty much had it in the bag all day, give or take? How do you get by him? How do you stay by him and stay penalty-free? Now, Sonicok, he does have a buffer. We'll show you the penalties now. Lozak has 3 seconds worth of time penalty, so even if he does not pick up another time penalty for the rest of the race, he is still losing 3 seconds at the end of this. So if Sonicok can stay at least 2.999 seconds behind Lozak, Sonicok will win. If he's further than 3 seconds behind him, then Lozak gets the win. So Sonic has to do 2 things, and he has to do them very well. He has to keep pace with Lozak if he can't pass him, and he has to keep a clean lap with no penalties so that he can be the opportunist that gets around Lozak when it's all said and done. Of course, Stocksy 9 back there in third. He's got a good chance at a win, too. He did not have the best qualifying at all, but we find him in a podium position at the moment. So could he be the one to upset Lozak from his top spot of the podium? Morris back there in the Mercedes. Of course, Morris is a commentator for SFR and a racer in the GP2 series, as you can see. A good result for him today, even if the race were to end now, but you know he's going to be looking for just a little bit more, at least a podium finish. But he might be able to get it done. Of course, Cassidy, Sonicok's teammate, he's got 3 seconds worth of time penalties, but he has ran around the top 5 all day. He might not be able to finish in the top 5, but he might still be able to finish close. Regardless, it's looking like so far the Alpine boys are going to have a nice points day. Alfa Romeo, though, they're not going to be too far behind. They're running 1st and 7th at the moment. Luke Bailey. I wouldn't be surprised if that driver can make a few moves through the pack, though. I would say that he could at least get a top 5 here, if not challenge for a podium. That might be a bit of a stretch because track position is so important. But Luke Bailey is a driver that seems like when it's clutch time, he could perform. Of course, you got Maxilrus behind Luke Bailey in the Red Bull. The Red Bulls have not had the best day at all. They have had pretty much a less than ideal day, and by less than ideal, I mean horrible. The only thing that could be worse for them is if they were in fact both DNF. But we're going to see where they stack up against everyone else now because we are back green. Sonicok racing against Lozak, but it is the Mercedes of Morris that is having a battle with Chain Game Wound at AlphaTauri. And look at the Alpine of Cassidy trying to make a move around the outside. Oh, and Cassidy spins! Cassidy spins into turn 2! So now the Alpine boys not going to have the best of points day. Sonicok still in second, though. Their hope is still alive. Morris in fourth, Stocksy 9 in third. Chain Game Wound trying to give chase down to Morris, but he's got 3 seconds worth of time penalties. So even if he gets around him, he's going to have to keep pushing. Chain Game Wow in fifth, though. Luke Bailey in the 6th position at the moment. And now Kara has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Not what the Red Bulls needed. Maxilrus, though, in 7th. He is still holding on strong. He's giving chase to Luke Bailey. He's just ahead of him, as you see it there. Lap 24 of 33, 10 laps remaining in this race. Chain Game Wow, a lot faster than Morris, I believe, but will he be able to get around him? This is not a good section to try to pass. Maybe, just maybe, down the front straightaway though. But we do not have DRS yet, so he's going to have to do it on raw pace alone. We will not have DRS for another couple of laps. Lozak sets the fastest lap, a 1:17.3. Sonicok 2.1 seconds behind him now. So Sonicok is going to have to get faster. There you see the tires. 6 laps for Lozak on the mediums, 5 laps for Sonicok on the hards. No question about it, these drivers can go to the end. But what I want to know is, will Lozak's tires wear out first, or will he still be able to win this race with a 3-second time penalty? Morris and Chain Game Wow still running close to one another. Morris approaching the back of Stocksy 9 for that 3rd place. And if Morris had DRS, he might be able to make the move done, but can't do it this time. There is no DRS. Maybe this next lap will get it activated, but I don't think that Morris needs it. He is eating away at that gap very slowly against Stocksy 9. Stocksy 9, he's just trying to hang on for a result here. In fact, I will show you the positions made. Stocksy 9 has gained an impressive 9 positions. Sonicok, an impressive 8 positions. Or is that both 9? That actually is. They're both 9 positions that they've gained in this race. So very impressive for both of these drivers. A little bit further back, we have Kara battling with the McLaren of Dabo. Dabo actually goes off track. Oh my goodness, that's going to be another time penalty, I'm sure. But Kara gets the move done. Dabo went very wide off track, had a moment there. So now he's battling hard with the Ferrari behind him. That's a Ferrari of Senna Martins and Carwin Robb. So what's happened to Carwin Robb? Oh, some contact there. Contact still. That might be some wing damage for him. Not sure, though. Carwin Robb, though, he's really forcing the issue. Oh, and Senna gets loose. Carwin Robb has to take evasive action. Now they're side by side going uphill. Oh, and Carwin Robb just pushes Senna a little bit wide. Not intentionally, I'm sure. But that was very close. Nice, clean racing I'm seeing here. Oh, and Senna gets very loose, hangs on to it, still side by side. In the 3rd sector, though, someone has to give. That person was Senna. Carwin Robb moves into 10th. 11th is Senna. 12th is X-Gamer. So the 2 Ferraris running 11th and 12th just outside of the points-paying positions. Can Senna get up there and catch Carwin Robb? He's got 10 laps on his medium tires, though. Is X-Gamer maybe quick enough to catch Carwin Robb? Stocksy 9, though, he has gotten close to Sonicok now, but Stocksy, he has a time penalty as well. 3 seconds worth of time penalties to be exact. So Sonic just trying to hold on for a podium at this moment. Don't think it's going to be a win, but it might be a podium. Running in 2nd so far, about to lose that to Stocksy 9, but Sonicok, he knows how to defend around here. Morris, he has gotten incredibly close to Stocksy 9. Lap 27 of 33. Morris still trying to get that podium. Lap 28 now as Lozak crosses the line. Sonicok with a nice burst of speed down the straightaway, but Stocksy 9 has an even better burst of speed because of the DRS. He's making a move around Sonicok. He gets it done before they get to turn 1. Moves Stocksy 9 up into 2nd place. 3rd place is going to be Sonicok for now. Morris going to be the next driver to try to make a move on him, and he is so very close, almost making contact through turn 3. Will Morris try to go underneath Sonicok? Not that time. A very wise move. Oh, but he still thought about it. There was a hole there. He could have made the move and maybe have made it stick, but he thought better of it. Morris and Sonicok, of course, the only drivers in the top 5 without time penalties. So they both could be walking away with a podium when it's all said and done. Very, very careful here, though. Sonic-Hawk, you saw him take great pains to avoid the outside curve, knowing it was going to spin him if he hit it. Just been letting you enjoy the race audio, but we can't anymore because Morris and Sonic-Hawk have found one another, and they are running side by side. And Chain Game Wow going to try to make up 2 positions. It's a 4-car battle for second. My goodness, Morris moves into 3rd. Sonic-Hawk back to 5th. Chain Game Wow into 4th now. Morris has his sights set on Stocksy 9, but I'm sure that his tires are reaching the end of their life. 10 laps on those medium tires. He has still got time, make no mistake, and he can make it to the end of the race. But he just does not have, I'm sure, the tires underneath him that he needs to make the desperate, aggressive moves that he can make to get around Stocksy 9. There's still a chance, though. There's going to be a DRS zone here in just a moment, but Stocksy 9 got a better exit out of the corner. That will help him tremendously. But with the DRS and with the slipstream, it might just be Morris who gets the move done. And it's going to be Morris who gets the move done. He's going to go underneath of the Alpine, or the Williams, excuse me, of Stocksy 9 and move Morris into 2nd place. Now, does Morris have the pace to get within 3 seconds of Lozak? He's got 3 laps to do it, and that is going to be an impressive task if he's able to do so. 7.1 seconds separates him from the lead. Chain Game Wow looking underneath the Williams of Stocksy 9. Stocksy 9 gives room. Chain Game Wow moves around him. Stocksy 9 falls back behind the AlphaTauri of Chain Game Wow. Oh, and maybe some contact with Sonic-Hawk. And Sonic-Hawk, he's making the desperate moves too. Carwin Robb is somehow, someway made his way up into 5th around Sonic-Hawk. Where did Carwin Robb come from? But now he's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That puts Carwin Robb's total to only 3 seconds, but it is 6 seconds for Chain Game Wow. So no matter how you look at it, Stocksy 9, Carwin Robb, one of these guys behind him is going to get a podium at the end of this. Because Chain Game Wow is just not pulling ahead, and he's going to have to be 6 seconds ahead of these guys to do it. Carwin Robb on the back of Stocksy 9 through the final corner here, but Carwin Robb did not get the exit he needed. But he has the run he needs down the straightaway. But both of these guys have the DRS. Carwin Robb a little bit faster, though. Looking underneath the Williams and Stocksy 9. They're going to be side by side into turn number 1. Stocksy 9 concedes the position. Carwin Robb moves into 4th. He sets his sights now on the AlphaTauri at Chain Game Wow. Carwin Robb, what an impressive drive. He was, around 9th? And now has moved up to 4th, battling for 3rd. Will likely get that 3rd place position. This guy is just incredibly fast. On board with Carwin Robb. Let's watch what Chain Game does. Chain Game is really taking it easy through those corners. Carwin Robb taking a few more risks, using up the curve. Chain Game Wow, he refused to touch it, and I can't say that I blame him. At this point, he just needs to ride around to get points. No matter how you look at it, even with the time penalties, Chain Game Wow will walk away with points in this race as long as he holds his pace and his position. Even if Carwin Robb gets around him, no need to get discouraged. He can still get points. Yes, he'll drop position, but points is what matters on the board. Carwin Robb getting very close to him now. He's going to have the DRS down the straightaway, but he did not have the room to get the run that he needed. Chain Game Wow trying to force the issue, run Carwin Robb into the grass a little bit. He backed at him, though, and Carwin Robb gets around him. So move Carwin Robb up into 3rd. His next victim is going to be Morris, half a second ahead. Lap 32 of 33. Lozak leads by 7.8 seconds. No chance of a safety car, no chance of Carwin Robb catching Lozak. The only chance for a different winner that's not an Alfa Romeo is if Lozak makes a massive mistake. Carwin Robb taking it very gingerly through that sector. Can't say I blame him. He almost lost his whole race early on through that sector. Now he just has to fight one driver. Of course, he still has to get out ahead of some guys, but he's only got 3 seconds with the time penalties. So he is okay. He is sitting pretty for a podium no matter how you look at it, but he makes the move around Morris. So Carwin Robb moves into second now. Morris lets him go by. I think Morris knows that Carwin Robb has a time penalty. And you can actually see it. That is the information that the driver can see, is if the cars around them have a time penalty. So I'm sure that he sees that Carwin Robb has that 3-second time penalty, and he's thinking that he is going to be okay no matter what. So Morris, if he can just finish this lap, he will be a podium sitter in this race. Lozak, you see him there in the third sector. For the final time down this straightaway. The time penalties will not matter. 3 seconds for him, 3 seconds for Carwin Robb, no seconds for Morris. He got the pole. He led the race early on. He lost it during the pit stops, and it was a fight to get it back. But through the final chicane, despite a 3-second time penalty, Lozak in the Alfa Romeo would not be denied, and he will win the Spanish Grand Prix for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series. Carwin Robb gonna finish in second, but after the time penalty will be demoted down to third. Morris moves into second place. Congratulations to him as Stocksy 9 gets fourth. No, Sonicot gets fourth. Stocksy 9 gets fifth. Kara gets sixth. A nice recovery from the Red Bull. So Lozak, Morris, and Carwin Robb, your top 3 drivers. Carwin Robb getting the driver of the day. So I'm going to attempt to invite them into this party with no co-commentator. It's going to be a bit of a dark screen, folks, so just bear with me here. I will try to get them in, though. Of course, it is Lozak, Carwin Robb, and Morris that we need to get in here. Still inviting them. Just bear with me, folks. But very impressive race, though, if I do say so myself. Of course, congratulations to Morris on the podium. Congratulations to Lozak on the win. Sonicok, a good result there in fourth. We cannot get Morris into the party, unfortunately. But we will try to get him in here regardless. In fact, here is Morris. He might be able to join us anyway. Lozak has just joined. Waiting on Carwin Robb and Morris. So here in just a few moments' time, we will be able to talk to at least our race winner and pole sitter. We'll give the other guys a couple minutes to join. Morris is joining the party now.
Hello.
Hello, Morris. Congratulations on your podium finish.
Thank you. I'm sweating my bollocks off.
Oh, I do not doubt that one bit, my friend. I do not doubt that. That was an impressive race. You had an impressive drive. Waiting on Carbon Rob to come in here if he decides to do so, but we're going to go ahead and with the interview. So first things first, guys, make sure you've allowed your voice to be shared. If you don't know how to do that, go over to the party settings, click always allow, and let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, ready.
All right, so first things first, we will talk to Lozak, our winner, our pole sitter, the man victorious on the top spot of the podium. Lozak, you pretty much seem to have this race in the bag from lap 1, but I do want to ask, what happened with you and the Red Bull of Max Loris? It looked like there was some contact from my angle, but I will admit it was not the ideal angle to see. So what is your perspective of what happened there?
Hi, so thank you for all your kind words, but yeah, in the first turn I was a bit close to Max Iris, I think his name is, and then he tried to close the door on the right, and I was there with my front wing, so we touched and I picked a little bit of damage on the front wing, so it was not ideal, but I don't know whose fault was. The stewards will decide, of course, but yeah, I think that it was a racing incident and very unfortunate for Max Iris, and I apologize because I stay on track and he instead was dropped to last, I think. So yeah, a bit unfortunate for him.
So you seem like you enjoy this track, because even with the wing damage, you were able to get out to a very significant lead, and even there at the end, you were leading by about 7 seconds before the time penalty kicked in. So have you just been able to really get a setup dialed in, or is this one of your favorite tracks?
I think I quite like Spain, but I think I had the tire advantage in the end because I was on fresh mediums that I just put on 3 laps earlier with the safety car, and I was very lucky to get the safety car exactly on my pit stop window, so it was very nice to get a free pit stop. And then with the mediums I was feeling very confident, and I opened a bit the gap in front. So yeah, very pleased with my race and to not have made many mistakes.
So some skill and some luck aiding in your win, but congratulations nonetheless. Final question though, how are you feeling about Monaco? Because I know that has got a lot of drivers sweating.
Yeah, I find myself quite good around there because I always do that in time trial and something like that. So I think it will be all about qualifying, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. So let's see what will be the qualifying in Monaco.
Well, congratulations on your win, Lozak, and good luck next week in Monaco. We'll go back and talk to our second place finisher of Morris in the Mercedes. How are you doing after that? You already said that you were wore out. You had a fantastic battle with Carwin Robb and yourself there at the end. So just tell us about that battle, and when did you know that he had the time penalty, that you could just back out and let him go?
Well, I knew from the start that Rob had a time penalty when he was behind me, because JD Garley, my teammate, were in the same room together, and after he went out of the race, he told me Rob had a penalty, so I knew that letting Rob go was just my priority. There was no point racing him on my slippy mediums at the end, because I didn't want to risk time penalties for myself and spinning out, because I knew I was gonna end up with a P2 if I just kept within 3 seconds of Rob. And yeah, it was a good race.
So what were your expectations going into this race today, realistically, and did you exceed them? Because it seemed like your pace was, around top 5 pace, but maybe not necessarily podium pace, and now you're sitting on the podium.
I was actually disappointed in myself, because in time trial I was quick in time trial. I was setting 14.5s and 14.4s in time trial almost. So qualifying was a bit of a mare. I got blocked off by one of the Williams on my run, so I ended up with the 15.2, so I was a bit annoyed after qualifying, but I had the pace in the end. I just didn't trust the car. I think I just need to build a bit of confidence in the car before I start putting my foot down, because the last thing I want to do is spin. So I'm just trying to keep my racing clean at the moment. Once I got a bit of confidence, then to push the car a bit more. But I feel like I've got the pace this season to be in the top 3.
Well, you're definitely in the top 3 today, so make no mistake that you will always have that to fall back on. But how are you feeling about Monaco?
Monaco, I'm actually quite confident because last year me and Mansell in GP2 locked out the front row and we ended up coming home with the 1-2. Monaco has always been one of my favourite tracks just because it's quite technical when using a wheel myself. It's one of the tracks I just love, so I'm actually really looking forward to Monaco next week, especially with JD Garley as my teammate. We're going to hopefully bring it home.
Well, congratulations, Morris, on your podium finish for the day. And I do believe Carwin Robb is with us. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, so Carwin Robb, we have some questions for you. You, of course, being our 3rd place finisher for the day. Congratulations on that. I know that you wanted that win, but it's 2 podiums and 2 races, so I'm sure you're feeling good about that. Where did the time penalty come from that ultimately led you to losing out on 2nd place?
I don't even know. It was a shit. No, I don't know. I can't speak, can I?
It's okay. We don't necessarily want you to, but we won't get mad at you. We understand.
It was a shit left in sector 2, I think. We run slightly wide, and it's just instant warning.
Oh.
And I didn't even know it was on 2 warnings. They didn't even pop up. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't even know why I pitted either for mediums. That was a mistake. But yeah, happy with P3. Maybe could have won, but I don't know.
So,
It's
if
Spain.
you could do it all again, what do you think you'd do differently?
Start on softs. Go for pole. Because my quali lap was actually pole. You see me back out. I was 6/10 up. So I would have been a 14.9, I think. But I backed out to start on mediums because last year medium hard was the strat. But that didn't work out because I got spun on lap 1. So I was just pushing from there. But yeah.
Well, you did an impressive job to go back to a podium finish at the very least. So, how are you feeling about Monaco next week?
It's Monaco. Anything can happen. Just go for pole. And it goes from there. No overtaking. It's probably a boring race, but what can we do? We'll try and make it fun.
Well, I hope you all make it fun because I will be watching from the booth. So I definitely want to see a good race, but good luck to you in Monaco. And with that, I think that that's just about all the time that we have. So congratulations to our top 3 finishers. Thank you to all the drivers that raced with us. Thank you to everyone who watched. And until next time, good morning, good evening, good day, good night, goodbye, and have fun.